In order to defeat the Black King and save the world from destruction, a commoner named Yuri was able to form the so-called Yggdra Alliance. Aside from humans, this alliance included demi-humans, ogres, and many other races. They attacked the imperial castle where the Black King resided. While the holy Princess Juliana and the others were outside fighting Irenaeus and the Black Army, Yuri and his group were able to enter the castle. They fought against many other Black armies that the Black King sent out inside the castle. Yuri had a chance to attack the Black King, but they were surprised to see him unconscious and was already being dragged by the leader of their enemies. The Black King asked Fina for the chain Chronicle and the sprite, named Parika. The Black King slapped her and picked up Parika. Princess Juliana and her men came, so the Black King summoned his dark disciples again. When Yuri regained consciousness, he quickly rushed to attack the Black King, but he was defeated immediately. Suddenly, the chain Chronicle lit up and it spontaneously opened in front of them. When Fina and the Black King both touched it, the chain Chronicle split into two, and Parika also disappeared. The chain Chronicle released a dark aura that made the Black King happy. It was the moment when Princess Juliana decided to retreat, and they saved Yuri and Fina. Those who were fighting outside also saw this, and they immediately realized that they had not succeeded in defeating the Black King. After what happened, those who were part of the alliance decided to go back to their respective homes, while Yuri was treated and still unconscious. Burkhard revealed to Juliana his thoughts about Yuri's leadership in the alliance which he previously opposed. He said that Princess Juliana should be the one to lead them. But Juliana still believed that only Yuri was the right one to do this, so Burkhard could do nothing about it. Isekai decided to go to the holy capital with the other holy knights, and left Princess Juliana to Wayne's care. When Yuri regained his consciousness, Princess Juliana talked to him about their next plan. So Yuri decided to go back to the vice capital first and report their defeat to Gilbert. Meanwhile, in a market in Yggdra, there was an old woman who wanted to buy an apple, but he was suddenly pushed away by a big man. And a traveler, named Aram, came there and helped the poor old man because the big man stepped on the old man's coin. The man took out a knife, but Aram cut the rope of its trouser, causing it to be pulled down, and after taking the apples, Aram left immediately. He chased after the old woman and gave him the apple. Then he also helped him carry its wagon. As Yuri's group were returning to the vice capital, they passed by the farmers. One of these farmers got angry at Yuri because he did not keep his promise to defeat the Black King, and there was nothing left of their crops, for all were also swallowed by the darkness. In the afternoon, they met a citizen of a village near the area, and it was asking for help because the Black Army was attacking its village. Juliana immediately decided to go to the village. At that moment, Aram was in the village and was fighting the enemies alone. After a few moments, Juliana's group arrived there, but as they fought the enemies, they felt their mana was weakening because of the black fog. When Yuri came to the village, he could hear the voice of the Black King telling him to accept his fate and of the world. When he heard what Aram said, he remembered the courage of his old self. When his companions got their mana back, they attacked their enemies again. Aram absorbed some of Burkhard's mana to fill up what's lacking on his mana. While Yuri was watching Aram, it was the moment he decided to join the battle. He used Seize the Light and he was able to defeat all the enemies in just one attack. Because of the red cloth that Yuri was wearing, Aram immediately recognized him as one of the volunteers in the army. After Aram introduced himself to Yuri, he suddenly collapsed and lost consciousness. Marina quickly healed him. Then Yuri remembered the mana earlier that had been added to him. Through Irena's pet, she found out that Yuri's group was going back to the vice capital. When Aram woke up, he approached Yuri and they talked for a while. Then Fina came and invited them both for dinner. While they were eating, they talked to Aram about how good he was at his fighting skills. Suddenly, the chain Chronicle released dark aura and the pages that turned black increased. When it was done, Fina explained to Aram about the chain Chronicle and its relevance to the whole world. Aram also found out about Parika, whom the Black King being assigned to Irenaeus to search, because as long as Parika was alive, the enemies would not be able to destroy the world. When Yuri and Aram talked again, Yuri recruited him to join as a volunteer in the army. At first, Aram rejected it, but because of Yuri's encouragement, he was able to convince Aram to join the army. As they got nearer to the vice capital, they noticed the battle going on. The Black Army managed to enter the vice capital, so Silva and his men tried their best to stop them. After a few moments, the group of Yuri already arrived to help. Aram took some of Burkhard's mana once again, but after Aram killed another opponent, Burkhard confronted him because he was annoyed of what Aram did to him. Meanwhile, Yuri, Kane and Mashita used their chain attack that caused the enemies to fall. Aram was so impressed with what the three did, and told them that he wanted to try it too. Burkhard suddenly spoke, for he still had not yet forgiven Aram for taking his mana. They had an argument, and because Aram got mad at Burkhard's words, he suddenly left them. When Juliana and the other came, the demon who was leading the enemy's troop appeared too, and he brought more of this army. The group of Yuri fought them once again, while Aram remembered what Yuri had told him. When the leader of the enemy attacked Princess Juliana, Burkhard quickly saved her, but it caused him to be severely injured after that. The enemies were about to attack Burkhard when Aram suddenly came to kill the enemies and saved him. Because of Aram's speed, many of his opponents were immediately killed. When his sword broke, he picked up Burkhard's sword and released his mana. He put some on this sword, and he also gave some of mana to Juliana. After he returned to Burkhard's sword, Juliana's group once again used their chain attack. They eliminated their opponents, and Burkhard was able to defeat the enemy's leader as well. After the fight, Yuri gathered everyone and informed them about his plan to form the Black King Suppression Squad to fight the Black King again. When Burkhard left, he suddenly fell to his knees due to the injuries he had sustained, and after a few moments, he collapsed. After Burkhard was healed, Princess Juliana instructed him to accompany Yuri to the Sages of Tower. Even though Burkhard wanted to accompany Juliana back to the holy capital, he could do nothing but follow his princess orders. He was also told to teach Aram because, like Yuri, Juliana also believed that Aram had the potential as a fighter. Celine suddenly came to inform Juliana that Gilbert wanted to see her. Gilbert was with Yuri and Fina in his room when Juliana arrived. Then he gave Yuri and Juliana the communicator. While Aram was looking for something to eat, he heard a woman scream. He immediately went to her location. During the hostage-taking, Dusty was also there to sell weapons. While he was talking to the man, Aram came there and immediately attacked the man, causing him to release the girl. The man attacked Aram until Aram got close to Dusty's store of weapons. Aram took a sword from it and used it in the fight. When he was able to defeat the man, Dusty approached him. They talk about the sword that Aram used, which according to Dusty was the best among his remaining weapons. Aram was about to return it, but Dusty decided to give it to Aram because he was also going to be a volunteer in the army. While Aram was training with the sword that Dusty gave, Burkhard saw him. Burkhard approached him in order to teach him, but he noticed the sword that Aram was holding. He wanted to know where Aram got it, but even though Aram said that it was given to him, Burkhard did not believe him. Juliana came there with Yuri and Wayne, and asks the two what were they fighting about. Burkhard said that Aram might have stolen the sword, but Dusty suddenly came there to tell the truth. Since Burkhard was embarrassed on his mistake, he left immediately. Wayne spoke and was worried about Juliana's decision to include Burkhard in Yuri's group. So Juliana said that she wanted Burkhard to understand Yuri better, and once he started to trust Yuri, it was possible that their group would even become stronger. At night, while Yuri was enduring pain in one of his arms, Fina approached him. She said that she noticed that he was not feeling well, but Yuri just said that he was fine. The next day, they prepared and were ready to leave when the Universal Mage, named Eludra, and the Dragon Slayer, named Vorn, also came to join their group. After a while, they started to leave, and so did Juliana's group. In the afternoon, while they were resting and having fun as they talked, Burkhard wondered why he was there with Yuri. When Yuri noticed that Burkhard was alone, he approached him to talk. Yuri also asked Burkhard a favor to teach Aram, but Burkhard excused himself that he was not feeling well and would like to be alone. Due to Burkhard's negative emotions, he did not realize that the darkness was slowly coming out from the wound that he suffered. He suddenly heard Irena's voice, and only then he noticed that he was surrounded by a black fog. When Irena appeared to him, she attacked his wound. Because of this, the Chain Chronicle also reacted, and they also noticed the fog coming from the forest. Yuri and the others immediately went there because he knew that Burkhard headed to that direction. When they arrived at Burkhard's location, Irena immediately summoned out her disciples. While they were fighting the enemies, Yuri decided that they should use the chain attack to get close to Burkhard. But before Yuri could get close to him, Burkhard completely turned into a demon. Burkhard and Yuri fought, even Cain also helped, but they could not take Burkhard down. When Burkhard was about to attack Aram, Irenaeus stopped him, and they both left the area. Juliana felt that something bad had happened, and just a few moments later, Yuri called her to let her know what happened to Burkhard. After they talked, Ares came, who was in a hurry, and informed them that there was a fire going on in the holy capital. This was done by other residents of the holy capital who decided to join the Black King to just save their lives. Under the leadership of Isekai, Cervantes and Roendia, they were able to stop the rioters. When they arrived, they saw a man who was about to blow up a woman, but Ares quickly stopped her. Juliana came closer to them, and Isekai told her that after the Yggdrasil alliance lost the fight, the chaos had started in the holy capital. When Juliana heard the man saying that he wanted to become a demon and join the Black King just to survive, she became emotional. It was only then that they found out about Burkhard, who had become a demon. When Juliana entered the palace, she and Louise also talked. Wayne informed them in the meeting that the army of the 9 territories led by Shiza was near the holy capital. They thought to convince them again to join the alliance to fight the Black King for the second time. Meanwhile, in Yuri's group, when they were resting, Fina saw Yuri, who was struggling because of its arm that was getting darker. She tried to use the chain Chronicle to slow down the spread of darkness, but it did not work, and they could not do anything about it. After a few days of travel, they arrived at the location of the Sage's Tower. They intend to talk to the Sage of Destiny, hoping that he know where to find Parika. But when they got closer to it, they were suddenly being attacked, and Aludra quickly blocked it. They saw Velner, Uni and Katia at the top of the cliff, who were with the army of sorcerers. They heard the voice of a sage, named Melchior, so Yuri spoke to ask him to join them to fight the Black King again. Melchior replied that Yuri's group had to prove themselves first. Then Melchior ordered Velner once again to attack them. Yuri's group had no other choice but to fight the sorcerers. When Aludra felt that her mana was running out, Aram gave her additional mana. Because of this, Aludra was able to stop Vernal's attack. On the other hand, Melchior was amused to watch the battle outside, but the other sage, named Dilma, already had enough of him. While Aram was chasing Uni, another sage, named Fatima, came there to stop him. After the fight, they were led into the tower, and Aram met the 3 sages of Tower for the first time. The sages showed them the imperial castle, which was surrounded by a black element barrier, and added that no one could enter it because the barrier was getting stronger. Then Yuri asked Fatima about Parika's whereabouts. Fatima said that she knew that Parika was still alive, but she was in a place where it was impossible for her to get out without someone helping her. Fatima could not determine Parika's exact location, but she knew one way, and that they had to travel to the Maze Pass to get to her. After getting the information, they got ready to go to the Maze Pass. Before they could leave, Vernal and his companions arrived, for they were assigned by Melchior to go with Yuri's group. Katia told them that Melchior was interested in the artifact that was discovered in the Maze Pass, and asked them to investigate it. When they got to the Maze Pass, they immediately fought against the disciples of the Black King. Aram suddenly heard someone shouting, and they saw the furball that was being chased by the enemies. Aram saved it, but Vernal used a fire magic, causing the area where Aram was standing to collapse. Yuri tried to save him, but the ground beneath him also collapsed, and they both fell. Because of this, Cain decided to meet with the Earth Sprites to ask for help because they were not familiar with the area. Yuri and Aram were also trying to find the others, but because of the strong wind, they decided to look for a cave to take shelter first. When Cain arrived at the location of the Earth Sprites, they talked to one of them, named Olga. After they found out what happened to Yuri, Olga immediately formed a rescue team to look for the two, and they also decided to join the group. Along with the Earth Sprites were the dwarves who discovered the sword-shaped artifact. After Cain and the rest left, Fina and Marina stayed behind to encourage the other Earth and Fire Sprites to join the suppression army against the enemies. One of the things that they should do was to investigate the artifact. When they found it, and while they were in front of the artifact, the chain Chronicle lit up again, and it showed the page with information about the sword that could dispel the darkness. Fina immediately realized that the book was referring to the one in front of them. While Aram and Yuri were in a cave, Yuri thought of playing word chain, so they would not get bored. Before they start the game, Aram went out to pee first. While Aram was urinating, he noticed that the furball that he saved was no longer with him. He tried to find it, and it was the reason why he was separated from Yuri. Meanwhile, in the holy capital, Juliana sent a letter to Shuza. But Juliana did not know that Shuza was planning something else. As Yuri was trying to find Aram, the darkness on his arm gave him the pain again. Because of this, he was affected by his negative emotions, causing him to think that he was fighting against himself. After it attacked him, Aram came in time and was able to block it. It was then that Yuri realized that he was fighting against one of the Black King's disciples. While they were fighting the enemies, they were able to perform the chain attack. Baltazar came there, and since he could not see Yuri clearly, he used magic to make the heavy snowstorm disappear. Yuri introduced Aram to him, who was Fatima's master and the former Sage of Destiny. Baltazar was also with the furball, who immediately approached Aram. Baltazar mentioned to Yuri about the guardian dragon that Yuri once defeated in the Lake of Sand. He added that one day, a new guardian dragon would appear there, and Yuri had to go to see it. When they heard Kane's voice calling them, they waved back, but Baltazar suddenly disappeared too. When Yuri met Olga and the fire sprite, named Rollo, the two promised to support the new alliance against the Black King. The next day, they continued their travel towards the Soul Land. They saw Shuza and its army, so they immediately approached him. But Shuza just pointed his sword at them, and wanted to take the chain Chronicle from Fina. Shuza intended to be the one to defeat the Black King, so that he could lead the entire Yggdra. Aram immediately went in front of Fina to protect her from Shuza. Shuza attacked Aram, and Yuri quickly blocked him. But Shuza still managed to knock him down. While in the holy capital, Juliana decided to accept the throne that her father left in her care. She first informed Louise and Einslot, who assisted her in her leadership after her father's death. She wanted to be a worthy leader that her subjects could rely on. On the other hand, Yuri continued his fight against Shuza, and he instructed Aram to take Fina away. The second lord of the 9 territories, named Yoshitsugu, also started to attack Velnir. Shuza showed Yuri one of his hands, which was also being engulfed by darkness. Aside from the 9 territories and Yggdra, Shuza was also planning to take the power of the Black King. Yuri and the others tried to use the chain attack, but before Yuri could attack, Shuza got ahead of him. Then Shuza approached Fina to get the chain Chronicle. When he got the chain Chronicle, Yuri rushed to attack him, but suddenly the ancient golem, named Alzada, came there. A few moments later, Irenas and Burkhard also appeared to them. They wanted to take Yuri and bring him to the Black King. Yuri's companions attacked Alzada, so Irenas summoned again her disciples. She also started to persuade Yuri to join the Black King. Aram was about to help Yuri, but Burkhard blocked him. As Yuri was encouraged by the darkness in his body, he chose to attack it. But he was surprised to see Kane, who was hit by his sword, and found out that he was about to attack Fina and not his evil self. Because of this, Yuri was filled with negative emotions and was gradually engulfed by darkness. While in the holy capital, the coronation of Juliana had already begun. It was led by one of the 17 clerics of the Great Shine, named Lilith. After a few minutes, Yuri completely transformed into its demon form. Due to Yuri's transformation as a demon, Shuza had a reason to kill him right away. So he attacked Yuri, but Alzada blocked it with her puppet. Then Irenas decided to leave there because they got what they wanted. Aram tried to stop Yuri, but Burkhard confronted him. Shuza used the power of darkness in his body, and was able to defeat Alzada's puppets. After that, they spent the night in an abandoned building while Marina was trying to heal Kane. Shuza met with them to invite them and the Sorcerer's army to help him to fight the Black King. He added that after losing Yuri, the new alliance would also be disbanded. But Vernal rejected Shuza, and Aram suddenly came to join the conversation. He still believed that the new alliance formed by Yuri could not be disbanded yet, and he knew that Yuri wanted to be saved from the Black King. He added that Yuri had so much trust in them that he was confident that they would be able to bring him back. Shuza replied that they should be the first to save Yuri before he could kill him. When Shuza left, Aram also failed to recover the chain Chronicle from him. The next morning, they decided to go back to the Sage's Tower to tell them what happened to Yuri. While Fina and Aram decided to continue their travel to the Soul Island, which they had previously planned. Mishida's group went back to the vice capital to bring Kane to the healers in the guild. At night, while Aram and Fina were eating, he told her that they saw Baltazari, and he mentioned the dragon that Yuri defeated. Although Aram was amazed by this, Fina was not happy to hear his story. So she informed him that this dragon was infected with darkness, that Yuri was forced to kill it that day. Fina knew that Yuri was good a person, and she was aware that Yuri was suffering on what he did to the dragon. When Mashida arrived at the vice capital, they immediately brought Cain to the healers. He also informed Queen Juliana right away about what happened to Yuri. Similarly to the other group, when they got back to the Sage's Tower, they immediately discussed what happened to Yuri. After a few days of travel, Aram and Fina found the Soul Island. While they were crossing the water, Aram remembered what Yuri and Fina had said about the reason why going to Soul Island would help them in their search for Parika. According to them, there was a World Tree Library on this island, where the fairy with the name Yggdra live. They added that this fairy was special because it also had a chronicle. When they reached the shore of the island, they were surprised that the darkness had already arrived there. As the enemies were about to approach Aram and Fina, Vienta attacked the enemies. Then she asked them to follow her because she also knew that they came for Yggdra. When they got close to the World Tree Library, they saw Rafalgar fighting the enemies. Rafalgar wanted to let their group in, but suddenly, Yuri appeared to them. Yuri attacked Aram, who was able to block it. Since Rafalgar knew that Aram had no intention of fighting Yuri, he attacked Yuri in order for Fina and Aram could go to Yggdra. When he succeeded, Aram and Fina immediately went to the World Tree and they were met by Yggdra. When they reached the location of the Chronicle, Yggdra used it to get them inside. Because of this, they are able to move to different places within the continent. Then they began their search for Parika using this Chronicle. They went to the time when Yuri was still fighting the Black King in the castle because this was the moment when Parika disappeared. Then they went to the time when Yuri was struggling because of his defeat from the Black King. In the same moment, Rafalgar was still fighting against Yuri, while Vienta had taken the Chronicle that Yuri wanted to get. When Yuri attacked Vienta, Rafalgar blocked it. But when the Chronicle was thrown away, it was suddenly filled with darkness. Because of this, Aram got separated from Fina and he ended up when Yuri was still quite young. Suddenly, Yuri faced the enemies on the road, and after a while, a man came there to help him. This motivated Yuri to train more so that he could get stronger. Yuri trained every day, until one day, he was able to fight the disciples of the Black King who attacked the village. He faced the leader of the enemies and was able to defeat it with a strong attack. After that, he noticed that there were no people in the village anymore, which made him realize that if only he had been stronger, this would have never happened. Then Aram went to the time when Fina was trying to slow down the darkness in Yuri's hands. It was only here that Aram found out that Yuri had been infected by the dark power for a long time. He also saw the conversation between Yuri and Cain, where Yuri begged Cain to guide him because Yuri believed in the possibility that he might be the hope for what the continent was experiencing at the hands of the Black King. When he moved to another area, he met with Baltazari. He was surprised that he was able to talk to Baltazari, and Baltazari told him that there was nothing impossible for him to do. Because of this, Aram thought of asking Baltazari for a favor. He did not hesitate to ask Baltazari to strengthen him so he could get Yuri back. To fulfill this wish of Aram, Baltazari moved him where Yuri was also present and he was able to talk to him. Suddenly Yuri fell, and Aram was able to catch him. When Aram fell, he managed to hold on to the rock. But the demon Yuri came there to try to bring them both down the cliff. In order to save Aram, Yuri was about to let go, but Aram held on tight of his hand. When the demon Yuri was about to attack them, Aram was able to throw Yuri to the top, and the two fought with their swords. Yuri asked Aram to prepare its sword for the attack. Then Yuri had Aram use his Seize the Light attack, and this made them defeat the demon Yuri. Suddenly, they heard Parika's voice saying that she would return if they could find the light of hope again. Aram managed to get back to the World Tree, and so did Fina, who also heard Parika's voice. Then they saw Rafalgar and Vienta, who were wounded after their fight with the demon Yuri. Aram and Fina immediately left to go to the Lake of Sand that Baltazari mentioned to Yuri. While in the holy capital, two ogres met with Juliana. These were Haruaki and Toka, who wanted to work with Juliana to defeat Shuza in case it joined with the Black King. When Fina and Aram arrived safe at the Lake of Sand, they immediately informed Ashrina on what Baltazari had said about the new guardian dragon that was coming. So Ashrina asked Farah to get the rock with a song engraved on it. Farah said that after Yuri defeated the guardian dragon, they saw it in the shrine ruins where the dragon lived. Ashrina wanted to find Musica, a forest sprite and so-called legendary songstress. So she assigned Rafa to look for her to sing what was engraved on the rock. But one of their soldiers interrupted them when he announced that the army of the 9 territories was approaching them. Khalifa was about to prepare their army, but according to the soldier, there was also another army which was already there to face Shuza's army, and it was the Holy Guard of the Holy Kingdom led by Juliana. So Ashrina sent Khalifa to invite Juliana and Shuza to a meeting. Both Juliana and Shuza accepted it and immediately went to Ashrina's palace. While Fina accompanied Rafa to find Musica, and they found her performing in the square. While the leaders were in the middle of the meeting, they heard the shouts of the soldiers. They found out that the Black King's army was already attacking them. Aram was currently fighting the enemies, and Irenas was also there with Burkhard and Alzada. Shuza was able to fight Alzada while Juliana was faced by Burkhard. When Burkhard knocked Juliana down, Einslot immediately helped her. Yashitsugu also helped Shuza fought against Alzada. Aram and Khalifa met in the battle, and Khalifa asked him if he saw Juliana and Shuza. Khalifa was worried that the two might fight each other, and if one of them died in the battle, it would surely be followed by a bloodshed. And as Khalifa expected, Juliana started attacking Shuza. They both considered each other an obstacle to their plans, so they could not get along. Because Juliana felt so much anger at Shuza, a dark aura was slowly coming out of her. This made Irenas happy while watching the two. When both of them was about to attack each other, Aram came in between, to stop both of them. On the other hand, the furball could hear Musica singing. It was only here that Juliana realized that the darkness was also engulfing her. Irenas attacked Aram because he interrupted when Juliana and Shuza were almost completely engulfed by the darkness. Then Juliana immediately cut her infected hair, and Burkhard also attacked Aram. Alzada helped Burkhard and she split her body into two. One of them attacked Shuza while the other half served as Burkhard's support against Aram. After Musica finished singing, Furball released a sword which was used by Aram. Shuza managed to defeat half of Alzada's body, and with Aram's new sword they completely defeated Alzada. After Furball transformed into a guardian dragon, Vernal's group also arrived there. Because of this, Irenas and Burkhard were forced to retreat. Aram also approached Shuza to retrieve the chain Chronicle. Shuza gave it to him, then it suddenly lit up. And when everything was in order, Vernal and Katia approached Musica because they also needed her help. Aram talked to Juliana to ask for the help of the Holy Guard, and to his surprise, Juliana immediately agreed to his plea. Then Juliana approached Shuza to apologize to him for what she did in the fight. She once again offered the new alliance to him, but Shuza chose to decline it. After that, Aram and Fina went to the Sage's Tower to accompany Musica. When they got there, they saw the ark and the artifact that the dwarves had discovered was placed on it. When Musica sang what was engraved on the artifact responded to her voice. Then Melchior told them their plan to use the artifact to break the barrier from the inside. The ark had the ability to teleport them, and this was what they would use to get inside. Once they succeed in breaking the barrier, the suppression army would have the chance to attack. While they were planning what to do, the various armies involved in the suppression army also began to act. Apart from Musica, the sages had also chosen those who would come along in the ark. Since Melchior needed to do more preparations before the ark could be activated, they were not able to leave, so they had to wait until it was finished. At night, while Fina was in the ark and thinking of something, Aram approached her. Fina told him how she and Yuri met, and the stories of their journey. Just like how glad Fina felt when she was with Yuri, Aram was also thankful that he met him. So he promised her that he would do his best to bring Yuri back. A few moments later, something suddenly exploded in the ark, and they saw Burkhard appeared in the area. Aram fought against it because it wanted to take the chain Chronicle from Fina. He also told Fina to escape, but Burkhard sent out the Black Army. Fortunately, Aludra and Vorn came to help them. Velner and the others also came there to fight the Black Army. When Melchior arrived, Aludra suggested that they should start the operation because the enemy had already seen the ark. Since Melchior was ready to operate the ark, he followed Aludra's command. Dilma immediately informed this to Juliana, so she had her army also prepared themselves. But Musica and the rest were having a hard time getting to the Ark because there were a lot of enemies. When they activated the Ark, another demon suddenly came there and attacked the person who was operating it, and this caused the Ark to stop. Aludra suddenly lost her mana, so Aram gave her some of his mana. Then Aram also intended to remove the darkness which was attached on the Ark through his mana. A demon attacked the location of Musica, causing her to fall, but the guardian dragon was able to save her. With Vorn's help, Aram was able to remove the darkness that was placed on the Ark using his mana. The Ark had been activated again and they managed to teleport with Burkhard in it. But the guardian dragon attacked him, causing Burkhard to fall. When they successfully entered the imperial capital, something suddenly exploded in the Ark, causing Musica and fire sprites to fall. And they were surprised to see Burkhard, who was already carrying Fina. Burkhard immediately left, while the Ark was continuously exploding. Juliana saw the Ark falling and the artifact was also removed from it. The Black Army appeared to where Aram landed, so he fought the enemies. The guardian dragon came to him with Musica and the others were there too. Musica quickly went to the artifact, while Aram and the rest continued to find Fina in order to save her. When Musica sang what was engraved on the artifact, the barrier surrounding the imperial capital gradually disappeared, and because of this, Juliana and her men immediately attacked too. On the other hand, the Black King was watching what was happening outside while he was inside the imperial castle. Fina was planning to do something, but Yuri suddenly appeared. He held her, and Burkhard gave the other half of the Chain Chronicle to the Black King. Using the power of the Black King, he was able to track Parika and combined the Chain Chronicle. Aram and the others managed to sneak into the castle, but Alzada's disciples fought against them. Vernal told Aram to go ahead as they tried to stop the enemies. The Black King saw Aram coming towards them, and Yuri was ready to face him. While Juliana and her companions continued to fight the Black Army outside, Irenaeus appeared to them. Einslot and Irenaeus fought each other, while Juliana was faced by Burkhard. At first, Juliana was always hit by Burkhard's attack. When Burkhard saw his badge that Juliana had been always carrying, he remembered again the day he officially became a member of the Holy Guard. And that was the moment when Juliana released her extreme power. When Juliana hit Burkhard with her attack, he came back to his senses before he fell. Juliana sadly approached his body and covered it with their flag. Suddenly, the Black King used the power of the Chronicle, and it strengthened the Black Army even more. They attacked Musica to stop her from singing, and this caused her to fall. While Aram entered a room where Yuri was waiting for him. Yuri immediately attacked him, and their fight started. Wayne and Juliana noticed that the barrier was once again engulfing the imperial capital. But the Suppression Army were not losing their hope, and they were still fighting. Irenaeus aimed at Juliana, but her attack was suddenly blocked by someone, and it turned out to be Shuza. He came with the entire army of the 9 territories, and they also fought against the Black Army. Musica was saved by the sword that Aram used, so she sang again, causing the barrier to slowly disappear in the sky. Irenaeus attacked again, but Shuza blocked it and attacked her. She even tried to fight back, but Shuza could just easily blocked it. When Shuza attacked her, Irenaeus could not handle the strong force of its power, until she was defeated completely. When the Black King was about to use the Chain Chronicle, Fina was forced to call onto the Chronicle, which immediately obeyed her command as its owner. As Aram and Yuri continued to fight, Aram tried to use his power to wake Yuri from the inside, but Yuri just blocked it. When Yuri was about to kill Aram, he was attacked by Cain, and Marina immediately healed Aram. Aram got up after being healed, then he gave mana to his companions, and they used the chain attack. Because of this, they were able to successfully brought Yuri back to his human form. After Fina absorbed all the darkness in the Chain Chronicle, Aram and the rest also came to save her. While Aram and Cain were attacking the Black King, Yuri quickly saved Fina. When Aram used his power again, it was when the Black King found out about the so-called light of Haecceitas. He attacked Aram, but Cain blocked it, and Mashida also helped against the Black King. But the Black King quickly knocked them down, and he attacked Aram and Yuri. Aram gave Yuri the mana, and together, they attacked the Black King again. Their opponent just transformed into its dragon form, but the guardian dragon suddenly came and immediately attacked it. It took the Black Dragon outside, and they were followed by Yuri and Aram. The battle between the two dragons continued outside, then Yuri and Aram also helped the guardian dragon. Aram and Yuri managed to severely injure the Black Dragon, and when Yuri fell, Aram quickly saved him. The enemy was about to attack them when the Guardian Dragon suddenly rushed to stop it, and this caused them both to fall. When Aram went to see the Guardian Dragon, it returned to its furball form. The Black King appeared to them again, but in a different form. It released a powerful attack on Yuri, but Aram blocked it. He also managed to defeat the Black King's attack, then he and Yuri used the chain attack on it. Using the Seize the Light attack, they successfully defeated the Black King. Fina lost consciousness, and when Aram was about to help her, they heard the voice of the Black King, who got up again and was carrying the Chain Chronicle. He returned to his human form and used the power of the Chain Chronicle as its former owner. He asked the Chain Chronicle to save Fina, but after that, he collapsed. The darkness gradually disappeared from Fina's body, and Parika appeared to them at last. After the defeat of the Black King, the soldiers of the Black Army also disappeared, and the victory was finally achieved by these united races. This is the end of the last episode of the Chain Chronicle, The Light of Haecceitas. I hope you like it and give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.